Welcome to this podcast. I am with Dr. Ulrich, who is a Agnihotra research scientist who has been exploring and practicing Agnihotra for 45 years, I would say. Yes, I mean, that's a long time. And he tells me he has not missed a day of doing the Agnihotra Homa, which is incredible. He is actually here with us. It's the 4th of April 2024. He came here to the ashram the day before and yesterday and today. He is helping us set up the Agnihotra Resonance Tower. So we will speak more about that later. But welcome, Doctor, to this podcast. And let's start with you sharing with our viewers a little bit about yourself and your journey in Agnihotra.
And I started 45 years ago when I was in Germany as a young boy, started to do Agnihotra. And then soon I came into contact with scientists who did research on Agnihotra. That was really fascinating. For example, one physicist, he measured all the size of Agnihotra, the steps, everything, and made relations. And he said he could find the number E in the pyramid and also the number pi. Then later on, I came to India. I met Sri Maharaj in Agra, who initiated this practice. And then also I met with scientists here in India, in many universities and research institutes in India. Some research is going on.
That's wonderful. I mean, you spend more time now in India, which is very welcome to us, because apart from many things that you do for Agnihotra, one of your focus areas seems to be to standardize the practice of Agnihotra worldwide. And we are very happy because Art of Living as an organization, we have actually taken your methodology, which is Maharaj's methodology basically, and this was actually brought here by Herschel, Karen Herschel, and she was the one who first brought Agnihotra to Art of Living, and she is a colleague of yours and you work closely together, and so it is Maharaj's original Agnihotra Paddhati that is being practiced and propagated by Art of Living. And could you tell us the importance of staying true to the technology of Agnihotra as given to us by Maharaj?
That is a very important point. And this is exactly what happened before, because Agnihotra technology was known thousands and thousands of years before. But then during the time it got lost, and then in the end, only some parts of it were still remembered. So people are doing Havan and Homas, which have they have the element fire. Yes, they burn something, but many other things are forgotten. For example, the exact size and shape of the vessel and the material copper. Now they do it in any vessel, even in aluminum, which is not a very healing metal. And so many things have been forgotten, and now Sri Maharaj has come to set things right again and to give this Agnihotra in the simplest form, so that everybody easily can do it at home. And the idea actually is that in the long run, in each household on this planet, Agnihotra will be performed again, because in the old Vedic period, it was like that. So it should come to that. But it has to be done exactly, because otherwise it doesn't work. So we need the exact size and shape copper vessel. It has to be copper. And exact size and shape. People often ask me, I have a large land, for example, can I have a bigger pyramid? And then I normally say, okay, if you're a musician, you play a sitar, and you have a large audience, do you take a larger sitar? No, it wouldn't work. This is also, it's all about sound, vibration, and resonance. So it has to be exact, that size, that shape. The shape is also important, there's 3 steps, because there is some energy coming from the sun, and these rays, they touch the pyramid and then they are reflected, and they are also reflected into the flame, and we have the mantras done at that time. All this is being reflected there, for the three stages are important, the three steps of the pyramid. And then it is said that a standing wave is created above the pyramid, and a channel is created 11-12 kilometers high. Through this channel, life energy, prana energy comes down, and then it is distributed around all plants, forms an aura energy field, and this is why the plants get more nutrition, they get stronger, disease resistant, and when the flame dies, all this energy is kept in the ash. The ash is actually something like a living being. Therefore, we have to treat it with respect. We should not put it in any metal container unless it's copper, and not in plastic. We should, if possible, only touch it with the right hand. Be full of love when you do it, and then keep it in a place. Best is some glass container or a clay pot.
So, Doctor, what you basically said is that Agnihotra is one of those technologies where it is all or nothing. If you follow every step precisely, then you will get the full benefit. If you miss any step, then the power of what you have done would be significantly reduced. So it is very important that we have standardization, and that's what Art of Living does. And you were speaking to me something very beautiful, that the ash is like a living thing. It is an entity because it has the tattvas, and that interestingly, that's how I got connected to you when I was doing the online course on Vedic agriculture. And I was discussing how this pinging happens. So you get the sun's rays coming into the Agnihotra pot, and when you are doing the chant and the mantra, the ping goes up about 11 kilometers. That's where the inversion happens in the troposphere, the temperature inversion. And the plasma from the sun, the plasma energy from the sun hits there, and it undergoes what we call convergence, where there's an inversion, and the prana of that and the tattva there, the energy there we call savitur, which is what is chanted in Gayatri mantra. We invoke that savitur. Yeah. And the savitur is that sun's, it's the radiance or the plasma of the sun, which gives our head or our thinking that very sharp intelligence. So savitur is equated to very sharp intelligence. And that's what we invoke as a tattva. And that particular ping, it brings that tattva of savitur down into the pot, homa pot, infuses it into the ash that is being formed, and that is how the power of Agnihotra happens. I mean, that's the scientific mathematics of it, which I worked out. But what you said about the ash being like a living entity, I found it very, very beautiful, and I believe that's how we should actually respect that ash. So when we are now talking about climate change, I mean, today as we are sitting, I read the newspaper today and it says unprecedented heat wave in Bangalore. Bangalore was always known for its weather. It was the retired man's paradise, and anytime temperature went up to around 35, 36, we would have rain and the whole place would cool down. It has not happened. So climate change is so real and palpable to everyone. I was told that this year the Pacific temperatures, El Nino has gone up by 2 degrees, and that is a tipping point for us. Could you throw some light on how Homa, Agnihotra Homa, could impact the climate change that is staring at our faces?
People talk about climate change and global warming, but actually the problem is even bigger. It is the global pollution of the planet. All the elements of the earth are polluted, and so Agnihotra helps to purify all the elements from this pollution again. So that is one thing. And of course, if I perform Agnihotra at my home will be purified. But if more and more people do that, then larger areas will be affected. With modern agriculture, the soil organic carbon is reduced. In India, I always thought it's often 1% or less. Now scientists told me no, it's not 1%. It's less than 0.5%. And the carbon which was there in the soil before, it was of course released to the atmosphere. Now we have done measurements on our farm in Germany. The soil organic carbon content is more than 10%. And in Poland, it's where more fires are going on, it is more than 15%.
Wow.
So that means if more and more formal farming would be done, then more and more of this carbon would be sequestered in the soil, and actually all this excess carbon could come down and be kept in the soil, and we would really solve this huge problem.
This is fascinating, Doctor. This is fascinating. What you're basically saying is that because we are not able to sequester carbon in the soil because of the chemical agriculture, and as you said, India, we are recording maybe less than 0.5% of organic carbon in the soil wherever we use intensive agriculture technology for growing our crops. And you said in Germany, in your ashram, where you have the fires growing continuously, your organic carbon has gone up to 10%, and in Poland, it is up to 15%.
Yes.
So, which means if we can use Agnihotra to sequester carbon into the soil, it would benefit agriculture, but more importantly, it would reduce carbon in the atmosphere, which is the whole point of what we are trying to combat and mitigate climate change. So I do believe that there is a big case for the people who are generating carbon credits to look at Agnihotra as one of the technologies to generate carbon credits, because we have to give the industries and the corporates some incentive. So maybe if we can have a carbon stock, like a carbon stock exchange, where Agnihotra credits can be transacted as to offset. Say industry is producing too much of pollution or too much of carbon, and then as to mitigate that, it has to buy carbon credits. I think this is something that we can look at, and I think jointly with Art of Living, because we are working a lot on carbon credits and creating carbon stock exchanges. So therefore, I think this is a very good input that you've given us, and we should look to see how we can evolve a system where Agnihotra credits can be issued to work forward. The other thing, Doctor, that I wanted you to speak about before we close this podcast is you're helping us set up the resonance towers. Actually, we had an old one which Karen had installed, but we didn't. I think we lost it during the development of the ashram. Yeah. But it's very important that we are reviving this Agnihotra in the ashram. So, could you tell us briefly what is resonance Agnihotra technology and how it can be used by people with large land holdings or gated communities or small townships, etc. How does this work for an ordinary human being?
So, see, if you have just a garden, you perform Agnihotra in your garden, and all the plants get the effect of Agnihotra. But then there was a situation first in South America where these farmers had large farms, like hundreds of acres, and they had, for example, banana plantations, and there was one big problem, the black sigatoka, the fungus disease, and they could not control it, they could not stop it. And there was one farmer, he was really devastated because his whole plantation was affected, and he was even thinking of cutting down the whole plantation. And then some friends met him and said, we have a technology which might help. And he, of course, was very happy and said, okay, anyway, I've lost it, so we can try that. And then Srivasant Paranjapi went there and he said, because it's a large area, one Agnihotra will not do. And instead of having, say, 50 people performing Agnihotra, which would be difficult to find these people, he suggested the resonance technique where you have one Agnihotra hut in which you perform Agnihotra regularly morning, evening. In this hut, no word is spoken and only one person performs Agnihotra there. And then there is one pillar in front of the Agnihotra pyramid on which sits one other Agnihotra pyramid, then down there in the ground, 50 centimeters stepped, another one. So the effect of Agnihotra first goes to the pyramid on top, then to the pyramid underground, and then through the ground, the energy, the vibrations go to pillars at the end, south, north, east, west. There is each of these cardinal points, there is one pillar, 1 meter 20, and on top of that, one pyramid sits. And all these pyramids, they are activated ones. This is what we did yesterday. So 10 pyramids were there with fire. At the same time, we had one pyramid in which some special fire was done, and then from that I took pieces of burning cow dung and ignited the fire of the other 9 pyramids. And so all the pyramids have the same energy, and this is how it works. Now from Agnihotra, the energy goes to the pyramid sitting on the top in the Agnihotra pyramid, Agnihotra, then down under the earth, and then under the earth the vibration goes to all the 4 pillars, and this way the large area is covered with Agnihotra. And in South America, this banana plantation, which was nearly dying, was saved, and at the end they had a good yield.
So I think this is fascinating, and I can see our CEO Venkatesh ji nodding, because we have something called Shri Shri Kisan Manch that we have, and this could be one of the offerings for Shri Shri Kisan Manch, because farmers can form a cluster, and that whole cluster can benefit with just one Agnihotra hut, because in the 4 pillars we don't do the Homa. They are just like mobile towers which are just broadcasting the Homa energy. So I think this could be one of the things that we could give our farmers of Shri Shri Kisan Manch. Clusters, we can give them Agnihotra as a technology. And I see Pratik here, who was also quite integral to the installation here. So thank you, Pratik, for helping Dr. Ulrich to set up the resonance towers. And you tell me that once we get this going, maybe towards Navaratri this year, you would be setting up one more for us, helping us set up one more for us on the hospital side. And you told me something interesting about the Triambaka Hut, which could be a part of this. Would you like to speak a little more about the Triambaka Hut as well, in conjunction with the Agnihotra?
When I heard about, and you took me around on the whole campus here, big campus, and I was impressed also the Ayurveda and the hospital and so on. And so I thought, okay, also there's agricultural land, so it makes sense to have a second resonance system there, because the whole land would be too much for one resonance system, and also there's the road in between, that's not ideal. But then if we do that there, for this resonance system to work perfectly, you need also to have a second hut where you perform the Triambakam fire for some hours per day. And this hut we use as healing hut. So people could come and sit there, and whether the fire is going on or not, doesn't matter, they would receive this healing energy. And as you have a hospital there, so many patients, and they would get strengthened. And whatever disease you have, always the mind is part of it. Yeah? And sometimes, like we have, if you have cancer patients in the last stage, okay, you may not be able to really heal the cancer, but very important is, because the last moment of your life, when you transit, that moment is of utmost importance. And if you, at that point, if you are scared, then it will be difficult afterwards. But if you are in a calm state of mind, that really helps. So even for these people, it will be a very good thing. And of course, many people are also healed by these fires. We have so many cases. And as you have a hospital, as you have scientists there, because you also have a college, then even you could do some studies. And that would be an easy thing to do, because anyway, we want to do the resonance system there. You have the therapy hut, and that would could be easily combined.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Venkatesh ji, we might explore this. We have our model farm there. So maybe Agnihotra Hut and a Triambaka Hut. So it could be, so I think these are wonderful things to look forward to. I thank you again, Doctor, for joining us, being a part of this ashram. Please treat this as your home. You're welcome to this ashram anytime you are here in Bangalore. Please consider it your home. We will be glad to host you here, and we look forward to associating with you and promoting this entire technology of Agnihotra in its purest form.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I also want to thank, and I want to say one more thing. Yesterday, doing the resonance point installation, it was really a great joy. Working together with Pratik and all this team, it was really a great joy. Everybody was helping, everybody was trying to do whatever, and they did that with a smile. So it was a great joy to be here. So I'm very grateful for the invitation, and definitely I will come back, because I just feel very good here. It's a happy place to be. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor.